Hi, I'm Rachel, and welcome to my 2024 Quarter 1 BookTube spin. The BookTube spin was brought to BookTube by Rick McDonnell. I believe he based it off of a book blogging practice of making a list of 20 books, usually in 4 categories that you'd want to read, and then doing a little spinny thing, you know, the spinner wheel, to pick the book you're going to read by the number. So Rick brought it to BookTube, but he had been MIA from BookTube for a while, but now he's back, and in fact, he, in December, posted a new BookTube spin video, which I'll link down below. So I'm assuming I'll probably lose most of my audience as it is, but I've decided to keep going my own way, because my own rules and such have shifted slightly, so I'm just in my own routine here, and I'm excited to go. So the way I play is every quarter I have the 4 same categories, although actually this year they've shifted just a little bit, so that's kind of exciting. And each quarter I spin, my goal is to read from the category I read from least recently in this game. So if you look up here, I've gotten every one of my 4 categories last year, and that means that I want to stick with what I read in quarter 1 last year, which was Jewish fiction. That's what I'm hoping to get with my spins. But in recapping 2023 quarter 4, I have to admit I didn't actually read the book I chose in that video. That book was Austerlitz by W.G. Sebald, off of my general fiction list, which is Holocaust fiction by a German writer. I decided not to read it because the truth is I don't know how into this book I'd be. What little I've read, it's just very dense and pretentious writing, and it was not the sort of thing I was looking for some easier end of year reading. So actually I read this fantasy book in its place. I'm not really in this game to punish myself, I suppose, for not following rules. I want to read books and I want to enjoy what I'm reading, so things are what they are, but maybe this means if I do land on fantasy rather than Jewish fiction this time, I won't read from that either. So the thing I do with these spins is that I spin 3 times, and that's how I'll choose from the 3 of them which book I'll read. Something else I instigated last year to kind of be a little crutch for myself in this game of chance is that every time I chose a book off of my TBR, I sort of nixed it from the board, so that by the end of the year I was really playing with 17 books rather than 20, so there was a greater chance that I'd get a number that I wanted. But now that we're in the beginning of a year, I decided I'm going to go, wipe the board clean and, go back to all 20, and then I'll just start nixing after this round. Whatever book I choose. So without further ado, let's get into it. I have my list of 20 books in slightly altered categories coming up right now that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so category 1 is slightly altered. I went full-blown into the subgenre of Jewish romance, which I'm excited about, trying to get some of these into my reading life. And the first 3, I believe, actually are YA, and the second 2 are adult. So number 1 is Imogen, Obviously, by Becky Albertalli. This is nominally Jewish characters featuring Imogen, a senior in high school. She thinks she's a straight LGBTQ ally, but when new relationships have her questioning her sexual identity, she's accused of identity appropriation. This seems kind of hard-hitting about policing others in the name of social justice. Number 2 is Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler. This is things are finally going Laura's way when her longtime crush, football star Chase, begins to notice her. But then, Jasmine, a girl Laura may have developed feelings for on summer vacation, transfers to her school. Just to put it out there, Laura, both you and Jasmine are Jewish. Number 3 is Recommended for You by Laura Silverman. Bookseller Shoshana is gunning for a holiday bonus, but the only thing standing in her way is annoying, non-literary, hot Jewish bachelor, Jake Kaplan. I think we all know where this goes. Number 4 is The Matzo Ball by Jean Metzler. Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt has made a name for herself writing Christmas romances. but now her publisher wants a diverse book about Hanukkah. So Rachel attends a famous winter Jewish singles event, the Matzah Ball, where she sees her old camp archenemy, Jacob Greenberg. But it's been a long time since camp, just saying. And number 5 is Meant to Be Mine by Hannah Orenstein. Edie's grandmother, Gloria, predicted the exact date Edie would meet her beshert, Yiddish for soulmate. But although she meets an attractive musician at the right time, Edie finds out that predetermination isn't as simple a concept as she believed. What if a relationship includes some rocky waters as well? Okay, moving on to my next slightly altered category, we have general literature, which I just switched out from general fiction because I have a variety of genres in here, starting with a short story collection for number 6, Cowboys and East Indians by Nina McConley. These are short stories centering on immigrants and cultural collisions in the American West as seen through the eyes of outsiders. Gotta appreciate that title too. For number 7, I am returning to general novels with The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. This is spanning several decades. We start with an illicit love affair between a Greek Cypriot and a Turkish Cypriot. We follow war, displacement, and commentary on the natural world. Another novel is number 8, Search by Michelle Hunevin. A food writer joins her church's search committee for a new minister, leading into humorous ruminations on the inanities of church politics. I kind of want a Jewish version of this too. Also, there's recipes. And finally, the next 2 are nonfiction, so I'll start with number 9, The Other Wes Moore by Wes Moore. My governor of Maryland, a successful black American, tracks down an imprisoned drug dealer who shares his name, age roughly, and city of origin. This is a testament to what helps kids succeed and fail. And then number 10 is Well Met by Rachel Lee Rubin. This delves into the history of American Renaissance fairs, which started in the 1960s as a countercultural movement and then became family-friendly mainstream attractions. This book profiles some of the performers. And finally, we're returning to some tried and true categories with science fiction. And I'll start with number 11, Provenance by Anne Leckie. A fugitive looks to reclaim stolen treasure in space and finds herself embroiled in an alien plot, literally. Number 12 is Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear. A routine salvage mission in space goes awry when an ancient technology is uncovered. Number 13 is Pushing Ice by Alistair Reynolds. A rockhopper crew is tasked with tailing one of Saturn's moons as it breaks orbit and leaves the solar system. Number 14 is Dark Orbit by Carolyn Ives Gilman. This is an alien contact on a distant planet, but with more of a murder mystery plot than my usual, but we'll go with it. And then number 15 is new to the list, and it's YA. It's On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Doivas. As a comet moves to strike Earth, our teenage protagonist fights against an unjust system to survive. And finally, we move to fantasy with my 5 final titles, starting with number 16. It's another new one to the list, and it's YA. It's A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. This is a YA classic about a young sorcerer who tampered with long-held secrets and unleashed a terrible shadow onto the world. Number 17 is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. A man discovers his fate is tied up with that of an empire, and he may be here not to save the world, but to destroy it. Number 18 is The Vanished Queen by Lisbeth Campbell. A woman vows to take down a despotic king and, surprise, surprise, finds herself embroiled in court politics. Number 19 is A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kosloff. An orphaned princess becomes a guerrilla fighter and must assemble a group of rebels to take back the kingdom. And finally, number 20 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. A young peasant girl discovers she has an unearthly power, but the war she fights for her god may cost her her humanity. Okay, and now comes the fun part where I do the spins on camera and choose my book. And if anyone else would like to play along and choose a random book for themselves, I hope this is useful to you as well. So we're going to start with spin number 1. Okay, spin number 1 is in fantasy. It's The Poppy War, which again, I'm probably not going to pick since I technically just read from fantasy, kind of, sort of, for this game. We're going to move on to spin number 2. Okay, spin number 2 is from general literature. It's Well Met, and I should have read from this category last quarter, so I don't know, maybe I'll be reading from it this quarter instead. Okay, but I'm giving myself one final chance to maybe get some Jewish fiction from category 1. Here we go with spin number 3. Nope, the game is against me, or maybe it's just making things a little more fun. It chose number 14, Dark Orbit, from my science fiction group. So yeah, I spun from everything but the category I was hoping for, but yeah, I get this will make maybe my reading list a little different from last year anyway, so that'll be fun. And in that vein, I think I am going to go with my general literature pick, Well Met by Rachel Lee Rubin, since technically I didn't read from that category last quarter anyway. And I'm really looking forward to this. I am a big aficionado of the Maryland Renaissance Fair. I try to go at least once every year. And I would love to, get a little more background into how this whole phenomenon came about. So, yep, I'm putting it onto my list, and I'm pretty sure in this case I'll be consistently excited to read it sometime this quarter. And that about covers it for me now. I have left the Goodreads links for all 20 of these books listed down below in case you'd like to see more information. I also have a link to my TBR videos playlist. And speaking of that, I think I'm just gonna, stay on this track for the next video and go ahead and do my page 112 tag next, which is my monthly TBR game where I choose random books out of a mug that are on my physical TBR and choose one of those to read per month, so stay tuned for that. I hope you are all choosing great books to read for the beginning of 2024, no matter how you are choosing them, and if you have any thoughts about the ones I've shared, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.